to another episode of the Scaling Brokerage Podcast. Today we have Tom on with us. He's been kind enough to bless us, give us some of his time today. So I'll kick it right off. Tom, let us tell him a little bit about himself and his business.
All right, thanks, Jake. So my name's Tom Moore. I'm the owner, real estate broker of Northwest Land Lifestyle Properties, located up in northern Idaho, not Iowa, but northern Idaho, up in the panhandle of Idaho, about an hour and a half south of the Canadian border, and I guess spatially for those around the U.S., Spokane, Washington is about 30 minutes west of me. So
okay, nice.
Gonzaga Bulldogs, if you follow college basketball.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm more so. I say more so. It's been football season right now, but yeah, we're getting close to March, so it'll be here.
There we go. So, yeah, so I broker in both northern Idaho and western Montana primarily.
Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about how'd you get started, and what was kind of that first step into being a broker owner?
Yeah, sure. So I have a forestry degree. I went to school at University of Idaho in forestry and worked in the timber industry. And in 2013, I went to work for a timber company, privately owned company, doing acquisitions and dispositions of their timberlands.
Okay.
And so I wasn't licensed at that point, but working under kind of a corporate structure, basically trying to help them build their tree farm for, growth of timber products, and then selling some of their lands that essentially grew houses better than trees, that had development potential. And so the structure was, selling off some of those lands to 1031 tax defer into more timberland. So got to kind of my foot in the door in real estate in 2013. That kind of led to getting my license in Idaho and Washington by 2015, and then branched out on my own in 2017. I actually acquired or joined a national rural land franchise in 2017 with a partner, and worked under that umbrella for about 2 years. And in 2020, went fully independent without a partner. Awesome. And we've been operating as Northwest Land Lifestyle Properties since then. So, basically, this will be our 8th year in business as a broker, and really our focus is on rural land, vacant land, rural lands and home. In our marketplace, there's roughly 2,000 agents, and the niche, based on my background, has been focused on that more of that rural lifestyle, and it's in our name, right? The lifestyle is really what we sell. The Northwest lifestyle. If you're in the outdoor recreation, space to have mini farms, recreation properties, that's kind of what we focus on.
Okay, nice, absolutely. Well, and tell us a little bit about too. Have you ran into any challenges along the way? I know you said you started about 8 years ago, Craig.
Yeah, kind of like, lots of challenges starting out. I mean, I didn't go to work for a big box brokerage, so didn't work under the tutelage of experienced agents. So I kind of jumped into it like, all right, I'll figure this out as I go. And some of the biggest challenges, I think, was not knowing what I didn't know.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. Time management. I think, having structured systems and structured budgets, sticking to that, and having more of a focused plan, I think was the biggest challenges starting out. And being comfortable with being uncomfortable a little bit. I mean, coming from more of a corporate structure, where there was a steady paycheck.
Absolutely.
So, twice a month to, using personal funds to get the business launched and leveraging a little bit. That was some of the challenges early on, and just getting a structure and a flow of work at that time. I mean, we hadn't hit that, that COVID pandemic market, which really exploded, nationally, but in our area especially, so it was kind of some hard lessons learned in that first couple of years.
Oh
A lot of
yeah.
sleepless nights. And, one of the bigger issues for me was just not balancing, focus on the importance of taking care of yourself, uh, you know, physically, mentally, spiritually in
Yeah.
that time, and just kind of diving into starting a business. And as we all know in real estate, statistics show that, yeah, 95% of people don't make it more
Yeah.
than 5 years in this industry. So statistically, we're doing pretty good at this point, but lots
Awesome.
of challenges on the way up.
That's awesome. And it's a good thing, too. We don't always come into the easiest market, especially maybe, someone getting started out today, someone that maybe got started, 5 years ago before, right before the pandemic, anything like that. We can get started in difficult times. We can always find out ways to overcome and figure out ways to, still set ourselves apart in the market. So that's also, you're able to, get through, a little bit of kind of that. I know it can be difficult making that step from the, 2 paychecks a week to kind of real estate where we're, not only investing into ourselves and the business, but at the same time, kind of, stopping that the incoming money so we can, get rolling. So I know, definitely know that can be difficult. Curious, did you guys ever set anything up on like the marketing lead gen side? Did you guys ever do anything to get the word out there when you were kind of first getting started?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had a foot in the door because of my contacts with some of the larger like timber companies, private
Yeah.
landowners. That was
Yeah.
kind of a step into, got my foot in the door with that. So kind of directly jumping into that niche of like, hey, I have a background in, timberland management. I know land better than most. I think that was the biggest thing for me starting off was I identified my niche early. I wasn't kind of all over the place. I kind of chose a lane and went down that path. But the reality was that at that time, it took a lot longer to sell land.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It wasn't flying off the shelf. So as far as marketing, brand recognition, I mean, having a more of a national brand helped to convince clients like, hey, I have a larger reach than just putting your property on the local MLS. But even then, the national brand I was part of wasn't well known in my region, and so still took some time. But I think for me, like the best investment, best return on investment that I made, and still to this day, was getting on Lands of America. It's CoStar Group, Lands of America Land Watch. It's probably one of the largest platforms for people searching for vacant land,
Oh,
and I joined that early, and that really helped, kind of get my name and brand out there early, and has continued to add value to my brokerage.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, and now, do you do anything on the marketing, lead gen side? Do you do anything to help get yourself out there, maybe to other agents? Help agents now that you have in the office, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, we're really focused on listings. I mean, that's where we focus 90% of our efforts, and so getting our brand out there has been huge. Even the old school, like we're marketing in more rural areas, and so yes, we use social media, Instagram, Facebook for ads and stuff, but we are still using kind of the tried and true, postcards, hand addressed letters, reaching out to, landowners in these rural areas who maybe aren't, using Facebook and Instagram as much
Yeah.
as some of the metropolitan areas. So that's still a very large part of our business with pretty good results. As far as agent recruitment, I mean, I currently only have four agents on my team. At the peak, I had 11. For me, though, I never started this brokerage intending to build a large brokerage. It was more
Sure.
quality over quantity, and
Yeah, absolutely.
I still feel that is my model and what works for me today. The agents that I do have, have been with me for a while, and yeah, I think it was just seeking the people that were like-minded, that really lived the lifestyle too,
Oh yeah.
and could sell it. People that were, on their free time or out fishing or hunting or packing with their family or doing whatever. Those type of people seem to gravitate to me, or who I was going, kind of trying to recruit.
I got you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, and to kind of to touch on that too, do you guys do anything on the residential side? I know like land properties sound like they're bigger pushing or a bigger area for opportunity in the market there. Do you guys do anything on the residential side at all?
We certainly do. For me personally, it's more of like a referral one-off, people I know in the community. I grew up here in Coeur d'Alene. And so it's friends of friends, or, people that I've served in other capacities, refer me out.
Yeah.
I don't personally actively go after residential listings much, more on the rural, home on 5 acres plus type of properties. But this past year I ended up closing a fair amount of in-town residential properties just based off of referral type work. But there are a couple agents in my office that farm directly to residential. It's just a very competitive market, with 2,000 agents, in our MLS. There's a lot of folks focused on that.
Yeah.
And, so again, it's like referral based. One of my agents is actually retired law enforcement. And so there was a network of clients, buyer clients that, he's helped in that residential sector. And so he's kind of been more of our residential buyer's agent.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, and tell us a little bit about the future. Where are you headed? What are the plans for you this year in today's market?
Yeah, I think it's really just doubling down kind of on our niche and continuing to add value to our clients. And that, from my perspective, is just knowing the market really well. At this point, I have enough years of experience in this area and working with enough buyers and selling properties that I can anticipate what the general consumer is going to ask about that property. And so just being very well prepared and being that wealth of knowledge for consumers is really kind of our focus, and continuing to use those platforms like Lands of America, Land Watch as our primary lead generation source, and also continuing to educate ourselves. I listen to a lot of podcasts. When Sean reached out about this podcast, I jumped on. I happened to be driving to a listing appointment, and I jumped on and listened to a couple of the episodes. And so constantly seeking those training opportunities. There's a number of real estate coaches out there in the industry, and so finding the ones that resonate with you. Don't try to reinvent the wheel, and some of it's kind of trial and error of what's working, but really our focus is trying to set ourselves apart from some of the competition in our marketplace, is being the most knowledgeable land specific brokers in our marketplace.
I love it. Yeah, and knowledge is power. But without action though, knowledge has no power. So definitely getting out there, getting into our our field, our market, and being able to talk with different people, and whether they be in the industry, whether they be future potential clients, goes a long way. I know you even mentioned some of the referrals you got last year just from being growing up in the area and kind of having those connections. Starting on day one of real estate, building those connections. We never know what bridge that we build is going to help others cross it over to us. So no, that is absolutely a key point. I think something everyone should focus on here in 2025.
Well, 100%. I think just as a general course of building a real estate business, and anybody listening to this probably knows that it's all about relationships and treating people the way that you would want to be treated if you're making, one of the biggest, financial decisions of your life. And so I think that's the mentality that we try to approach every client with, regardless if they're, if they're buying a, $100,000 or $50,000 recreation property or $10,000, investment property. We try to treat everybody the same and strive for that, and just adding value wherever we can.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And if we can add value into their lives, our potential future clients' lives, it goes a long way. Even maybe that property isn't the one for them. We find another one. We can still make things happen with them. Especially when we connect to them on that personal. So that's awesome. I'm glad that's something you guys are focusing on here, and in this coming year. I know we kind of talked about short term, this year. What about 2030? I know it sounds a little futuristic, almost even. But what would be your goals? Over the next 5 years, what would you like to look back and see that you've accomplished?
Well, again, I think it's, focused on quality, not quantity of team members. So helping, at this point, I have a pretty specific plan where I want to go for myself. But it's also helping, my team members build their business.
Yeah.
Allowing me to, maybe delegate some of the opportunities that have been kind of my go-to, that activities that kind of pay the bills, some of the smaller transactions that can just help kind of continue to build their business. And my focus will be on more working with larger landowners on rural developments and kind of project management in that regard, creating more opportunities, creating more product for myself and my team to sell moving forward. And then for me personally, I'm also exploring another side of real estate with some family members, working with families that are dealing with aging parents or family members that are, kind of in that transition of life of needing to work through their estate, sell their real estate or other important aspects of kind of transition in life. And so I'm kind of exploring some opportunities on that front as well. It's kind of a different business model than what I'm currently doing, but I'm excited about that potential and maybe bringing some of my family members into the business.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and there's so many different avenues we can take in real estate. Just on the more broad scale, commercial, residential, doing, like land deals. There's so many different avenues that we could go into that, might fit us better one way or the other. So it's really awesome too to, still be, with being in the industry, being an owner for 8 years, still looking to diversify and still looking at, new things to go out there and find a niche in our market, then something that's needed. That's awesome. That's awesome. You're still doing that.
Yeah, and I think it's just, there's a lot of trial and error. I mean, over an 8-year period, there's a trial and error. You kind of throw money at different efforts, but I think that's where I'm at now, is being very focused with systems, tried and true systems, staying up on technology, spending money where it makes sense to spend money, but also being prepared and knowing what the market outlook is, and not making the same mistake twice, I guess, is kind of where I was going with that.
Absolutely. No, and one in regards to that too, kind of one of the last things I'd like to touch on is would be your advice for a new brokerage owner, someone getting started in today's market. Where would you kind of advise them to take their first steps?
I would say grow slowly. Know your numbers, know your budget, stick to your budget, and add staff as needed. Don't add staff first. Add staff once you get to the point where you absolutely know that you need it. And don't settle. I mean, find the right people that share the same values. Clearly communicate expectations with those folks, and educate yourself. I mean, I really feel like knowing your market, finding your niche, and being the expert in that field is crucial. You just grow slowly. I mean, I think that's one big takeaway for me, was trying to do too much right out of the gate, and burnout is a real thing. If you're not taking care of yourself, physically, spiritually, and mentally, this industry can really get you. And I think that's the biggest thing for people that are starting out is set realistic expectations and take it slow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, and that's the name of the game, slowly building up over time that, gets us where we want to go. I mean, that's how we get to where we want to be. Well, that's wonderful. And I really do appreciate you coming out and spending some time with us here today, Tom. Let the people know where can they get in touch with you? If they're interested in anything we talked about or just wanting to connect on, anything about properties, where can they find you?
Yeah, probably the best way to connect with me is via email at tom@nw, like Northwest Land Lifestyle.com. Via email, or they can call me directly at my office, 208-772-3000.
Awesome. Yeah. Any social medias, any like Facebook, Instagram, anything like that?
Yeah, so probably via Facebook. It's Northwest Land Lifestyle Properties.
Nice.
Look us up on Facebook, and love to connect with other brokers in the nation too, for sure. I mean, that's another part of this, is just collaborating with other brokers and masterminding groups. I mean, finding those kind of opportunities is essential for continued growth in this industry.
Absolutely. No, hey, and like I said, we appreciate you coming out today, Tom. We're going to link everything down below. So any way we can get you in contact with Tom, we'll put it down there. Email, phone number, Facebook, anything we got. So yeah, if you guys are looking to get in touch with him, we'll have everything down there. And then once again, Tom, really do appreciate you coming out and spending some time with me here today.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, Jake. Nice speaking with you.